favorite part of the benchmark literacy program is the variety. Each unit is constructed of 3 different week-long mini units basically. The first week we really focus on strategy. For example, in 5th grade we were just working on summarizing, and for the whole week we work on that particular skill. In the second week we then introduce a genre to go with it. So we just studied science fiction, which was very different for the 5th graders to learn about, and we also worked on summarizing those science fiction texts. And then the very last week of each unit is a reader's theater that has to do with the genre, and once again we continue to work on that summarizing. My favorite week by far is the reader's theater because it's fun to see them using different expression and really getting into their roles. And then we have 2nd grade reading buddies that partner up with us, and we perform for them and they perform for us.
So before we get started today, let's just re-look over our web of the features that science fiction has, okay? So we said the story imagines the effect of science and technology on people and society. So what are some books that we talked about that kind of fit into science fiction? We talked about lots of them. Hunger Games, what else?
Benchmark literacy has changed the way that I teach reading in that each of the units is 3 weeks long. So at the beginning there's a lot of teacher modeling and explaining of how to use the comprehension skill and metacognitive skill. I show and I model, and then as the 3 weeks go on, I gradually give it up to the kids with a lot of scaffolding and support. I feel like not all kids learn it on the same day, so this approach works great for kids, especially at my age, in 2nd grade. The goal is at the end that the kids independently apply the skill to various texts, and I'm finding great success using this type of teaching to teach the skills.
Let's get our brains doing a little bit of thinking about these 2 words. I'm going to write down city, and I'm going to write down the country. Now, if you have something to share, I want you to raise your hand to share.
The things that I like best about our new Benchmark Literacy series is that we're teaching reading so deeply. Rather than reading long stories or passages, we're reading shorter pieces of text. So we force the kids to really dig in and examine that text and reread it. We're also explicitly teaching skills in a way that we haven't done before. We use the I do, we do, and then you do model, in which we first demonstrate how those skills, how people use those reading skills by modeling to them how we might do that when we're reading a text. What am I thinking about? What am I doing as a reader? Then we do that together as a group. Then we release students to do that independently. And so that's really helped them to grasp reading skills more effectively.
I want you to turn and talk with your neighbor. I want you to look at these words and determine with your partner what are the parts of speech here. We just kind of went over that words that end in A-R-Y are nouns and adjectives. Is that true for E-R-Y as well? Go ahead and turn and talk. What are
It's amazing exposure to E. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
Since we started using benchmark literacy, I've noticed that the kids are engaged in what they're reading and they're putting the strategies into practice by highlighting or underlining to find specifically what they need in the text to understand what they're reading.
Some benefits of our benchmark curriculum is that we are now working on a metacognitive skill and a comprehension skill for 3 weeks. So the students really get to work and practice on that for not just 1 week but 3 weeks, and I feel that the students really have an understanding and can use that skill later on.
Today we're reading a story and trying to find out what the author is kind of trying to tell us.
What I like about benchmark reading is that kindergarten students are making connections between everyday life and their reading skills.